how to get more people to buy your stuff. This is the age-old question, something that we're striving to do as Etsy sellers or e-commerce sellers. How do we get people to buy more of our stuff and buy more of it often so we can make more money and not just listen to crickets instead of cha-chings all the time? Well, there are three areas that you have to consider when getting people to buy more of your stuff and more of your things. And today I want to give you the full strategy and talk about these three areas so that you can sell more, make more money, and be happier and less stressed because that's what we all want. So let's dive in. All right, the first area, the first bucket that we want to talk about as part of this three-part strategy is traffic. Without traffic, we will have no chances of people buying. So the more traffic you have, the higher the chances are that you will get at least some customers, unless your stuff is really, really, really bad and it's not something people want. But we're just gonna say that that's not the case with you. You're selling good quality stuff that people do want, that has the opportunity for people to buy. So the question really comes down to how do we get more traffic? How do we get more people to our website to buy things? So there's basically two ways to get traffic that every business has to consider. One is more time, two is more money. So time or money, what are you prepared to do? If you don't have a lot of money, then you have to spend more time. If you have some money, then you can spend less time. But either way, those are the two ways to get more traffic and where you have to focus on. So the first, time. By time, I mean you have to spend time you have to take actions to drive that traffic. Now, within Etsy, there are a couple of different options. So you can actually spend the time with SEO optimization, and SEO is search engine optimization. But with inside Etsy, you can leverage SEO to get a piece of that pie, to get a piece of that traffic coming your way. But it takes time. You have to learn your niche. You have to do keyword research. You have to make sure you're setting your listings up correctly, title, tags, description, where they're SEO optimized with the best keywords, and making sure you're doing that market research so there is the potential for traffic there. Because if you have keywords that have no traffic, then it's not going to help. But if you're in a market in a niche that has a lot of traffic, then all you have to do is leverage that traffic to get some of those people coming your way as opposed to other people's shop. How do you do that? Keyword placement, multiple keywords inside your listings and structured properly so that you can capitalize on that traffic and try to get some people coming your way. So you're leveraging the Etsy platform to benefit you and benefit your shop. Number two is to drive your own traffic through other means. So this is social media posts, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. This also includes YouTube videos. This also includes email marketing. These are all ways that you can kind of pull that lever to get traffic and drive your own traffic to your own Etsy store so that some of those people buy. But it takes time. There's a lot of time that it takes to do posts, to make sure you're putting the right information out there, to setting up your listings and all that stuff. So time is something that you're going to have to invest in, especially early on if you don't have a lot of money. And that brings us to the second way. The first way is time, the second way is money, and that simply means that you are paying to advertise. And you have a couple of options. You can pay to advertise inside Etsy through paid ads. And also, Etsy does have offsite ads, which you have a little bit less control over. I'm not going to dive into that too deep here, but those are the two advertising methods that you can do inside of Etsy. So you can pay, especially for Etsy ads, you can set a budget. You can select which listings you want to advertise, and you can pay per day. You can set a budget per day and advertise, and hopefully you get an increase in traffic, and hopefully some of those people buy. You can also advertise outside of Etsy through other platforms. Again, the same platforms that I mentioned earlier, that it takes time. You can advertise on all of those platforms. You can advertise on TikTok, you can advertise on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Again, it takes, if you want to spend the money and you want to learn those advertising platforms, a lot of people have been very successful but you have to learn and you have to also spend money to be able to do it. So you're not just throwing money away and you want to be strategic about it. So those are the things that you can do, time and or money, to drive traffic to your Etsy store. And all of those ways have worked for many, many, many people, but you have to pick a strategy. You have to learn and implement that strategy over time and just improve and iterate and get better and get better and better and better. And hopefully you'll start to see some very positive results. But like all this stuff is not going to happen overnight. You're not going to immediately wake up and get a ton of traffic. You have to work towards that and take actions towards that. All right. The second area, the second bucket rather, is price. So with price, this is a lever that you can pull, but this has a direct impact on the sales that you're getting. And a lot of people think about price the wrong way, but price really comes down to, there's low, there's middle, and there's high. But the first step is to research your niche. Do that market research. What are your competitors pricing their stuff at? What are those different options? And then from there, you'll see the kind of the range, okay? Low, middle, high. And a lot of people, especially early on when they start, they have the first inclination of going low. Low is a race to the bottom. You don't want to go low. Your profit margins are super low. You're not going to make any money. You're going to be frustrated and you're going to quit. And that's not the direction that we want to go. So start middle to high. And you can do middle to high. You don't have to be the lowest. Let other people do that low bottom barrel, garbage stuff. You want to shoot for middle or high, but what you have to do in order to offer your stuff at middle to high prices is justify it with the customer. So you have to be able to justify why they're paying a middle or a higher price, especially for high price stuff. You have to justify it to them. Why should they pay more for your item? How is your item different? What value do they get? Is there added value? And quality listings, how you're setting up your listings should go without saying as the first way to combat this. Really good pictures, making sure you have a description and you have a lot of pictures, not to mention that they're good pictures. Everything makes sense in your listing. It is curated in a way that it looks professional and that builds confidence where people want to buy from you. So this is really important. But going back to justifying it with the customer, how can you add value? How can you take what someone is doing in your space, in your niche, and make it better? What can you do that's going to add more value to your item that people aren't doing? And sometimes it's stuff that's not that complicated. That's not that hard. One of the things that I did, with my graphic t-shirt business, everyone's offering 100% cotton shirts, which I don't like. If you don't like them, that's cool. I don't like them. They're scratchy, they scratch my nipples. I don't like them. They're just uncomfortable to me. I like a 50-50 blend. So that's what I offer. It's more expensive, but it's a softer shirt. It's more comfortable shirt. And a lot of people weren't doing it. So I was justifying it. And then I was talking about it in the listing. Do you want to be scratched and feel like you're wearing sandpaper, or do you want a shirt that feels like really nice bed sheets? So justify it with, how can you take your stuff to the next level? And then how can you explain that to the customer without trashing other people, but how can you explain it where it kind of makes sense? And then they'll see, it kind of is in their mind. They're looking at maybe a similar item. They're like, oh, this competitor is that 100% cotton that LL was talking about. I don't want that. It's going to scratch my nipples. So those are the things that you can think about. So how can you do things different? Set yourself up for set yourself up for success. Create value in how you're explaining things and in your actual items themselves, and just do it with excellence. And people will that'll come through, and they'll be able to see that. The next thing with pricing is you want to test different pricing strategies, right? Just because you're priced now out of the gate is one thing, it doesn't mean it's going to be that down the road. So you can you can fluctuate your prices by a few dollars, maybe raise it a few dollars, lower it a few dollars. Again, within the ranges that I'm talking about. You're not going to start at $20 and then go down to $5. It doesn't make any sense, right? You should have already done this market research where you're kind of in the middle to high range. So you may want to increase it or decrease it a few dollars, test it out, Um, the other thing is you want to test, you can test free shipping if you want to do that, free versus not free. You can also do some shipping versus full cost. So this is what I do. My cost for the customer is $3 for shipping. It normally costs me 5 to 6 bucks. So I'm eating some of that cost, but I'm still charging for some shipping, and it's very low. So the customer doesn't really care that much. But I'm eating some of that cost. So that's a good strategy. If you want to try the full price, that's fine, or you can do less and work it into the cost of the item. However you want to do it. You can also test, free shipping incentive. So either way, I would have this. This is a great way to entice people to buy. Free shipping incentive. Etsy does give you an SEO boost if you're doing $35 or more, but you can do your own if that doesn't work for you. You can do $50 or more, 75, 100 to get free shipping. It's just enticing them to buy more and spend more money to get to get that additional layer of savings. So just test it out. It's never a one and done thing. There are many strategies and many different ways to quote unquote skin the cat. I like cats. I don't want to skin them, but there's many different ways to do the strategies. And you'll never know what works for your niche without testing it out. So that's why you got to do it. All right. So the third and final bucket, the third and final stage to be able to get more people to buy your stuff and to focus your business on is conversion. So this is the number of people that are buying your stuff out of the number of people that are visiting your listings or your shop. So all the people that are visiting your stuff, are viewing your stuff, how many of them are buying? What is the conversion percentage? You can see this in your stats. You can figure this out in your individual listings. What percentage of people are actually buying your stuff. The higher conversion, the better. You want more people to be able to buy your stuff. So what is driving conversion? Well, the one of the main things is that impacts conversion is the price, like we just talked about. So is it worth the perceived value? Is it going to be worth it? Is the customer going to be pleased with their purchase? So it's getting that point across with your pictures, with how your listings are set up, with the things that you're talking about, how you're wording things. There's no confusion. You're making sure that it's explained in a way it's positive. You're very thorough as far as the material, any extra, instructions, washing instructions, care instructions. Just add that level of care and that increase the perceived value that the customer is getting. Whether you want to add in some free accessories that they get with the item, a nice bag that it comes in. The packaging is very nice. So if someone's giving something as a gift, and you have really nice packaging, put that in the pictures and explain that. So they're like, oh wow, they're gonna really like this. Not only is the item nice, it's gonna be packaged really well. Big perceived value for that customer. Doing things that your competitors aren't doing, that's gonna set you apart from the competition. The other thing that you can do to increase conversion is urgency. So this is done basically pushing people to buy now and not wait. So this can be limited quantities, or running a sale can do this, or having a coupon where it ends. If you want to have send out coupons to your social media or whatever, and have it with an end date. So create urgency for them to buy now and not wait. People procrastinate all the time, so give them a reason not to wait, not to procrastinate. You can also in your listings, in your marketing dashboard, set up coupon codes that will automatically be generated for ads to cart, favorites. So those will automatically be sent out to customers, and you can limit the time window. So it's a tighter time window to really ramp up that scarcity. So make sure you have those set up as well. The other thing is scarcity. Urgency goes along with scarcity, a lot of the same things, but scarcity is really basically limited quantities, limited release, seasonal release. So there's less of it. So that will will increase scarcity, increases urgency, which increases the chances of people buying. So those two kind of play together. You can offer both or one or just the other, but they all kind of do the same thing and get people to buy. The last thing is how you're setting your listings up, like I talked about many times. Your description, your make sure it makes sense. It's not confusing. It's thorough, and there's that perceived value. But those are the three buckets. Everything that you do every single day should be focused on conversion, price, and traffic. If you are everything should lead and roll up into that. If you're doing something and it doesn't roll up into one of those buckets, why are you doing it? It's not going to improve your business. You're not going to get more sales. So make sure everything rolls up into those three buckets. And I can guarantee you, if you're doing that, you're going to get more sales at the end of the day. It's not going to be overnight, but it's gonna help guide you and give you that beacon. Often entrepreneurs don't know what the heck to focus on, don't know what to do. Well, I'm telling you, focus on those three things. Everything you do rolls up into those. You're going to start seeing positive results down the road. So hopefully, you guys like this. Share it with a friend that this could help. That's it for this episode.